you back up a little bit so you can see the sunlight, so you can see if I can get him? You see him? You see the sunshine? Right here. Back up everybody. You back up a little bit, I can still see him with the sunshine.
Okay, I'm Linda Hill, and I coordinate a club called the Young Naturalist Club with my husband John. John and I both guide children to go into nature and just sit quietly and listen. So by learning to listen to nature, then we can learn to care for nature and connect with nature with our hearts and our minds and our spirits. And that, for me, is the way to heal the bond. Children have so much less time for free play, so maybe that's part of the reason. Maybe the responsibility is just to, or the solution is just to give children more time to say, go outside and play, because children will create. There's a book called The Last Child in the Woods, and it's a very sad book because it talks about all those reasons that children are spending so much time inside. The main reason is school. That's very sad that children who go to school almost never go outdoors while they're in school. They stay in their classrooms and stay in desks, and that's a big part of the day. And then children, almost all children, even in our community, are driven to school now. Very few children walk to school or ride their bicycles anymore. So even they don't even get a chance to walk along the roads to go to school. And then children spend a great deal of time watching television and playing on computers and doing other indoor activities. But a bigger part of the answer is to guide children, to introduce children to all the plants and the animals as our relatives. So all of nature are part of our family. And so we can learn to care about all the different places in nature, all the different living beings that are around us as our family.
To understand is to love, and to love is to understand. And I think that's true. The more kids learn about nature and the more they experience it, the more they care about it. And then the more they care about it, the more they become interested in learning more about it.
About nature.
Yeah. If you look at a natural area, it's just incredibly complex. There's all kinds of different plants and shapes and colors and lights. And then you look at the environments, the built environments that people live in. They're rectangular, and they're primary colors, and they're very much simpler. And so I think children growing up in a built environment are losing this rich experience that's available. And if you let kids get out and explore the natural world, they can experience that, and it's very important for their cognitive development. Experience the richness of the world we live in rather than the sort of impoverished world that we've constructed for ourselves. That's what people do. They simplify the world so they can deal with it. And it's probably important to get out and get away from that simple world. A guy named Robert Pyle, who's a naturalist, and he talks about the extinction of experience. And he is saying that we lose the experience of animals and plants when they become extinct. But we also lose the experience if they just stop occurring in our area. But we also lose the experience if we just stay indoors and don't pay attention. So I think the two go together, that children don't have as much experience of nature, and so they're losing it. But they don't even know they're losing it because they don't have the experience. Oh, get out with your kids. There's programs like the one we do, the Young Naturalist Club. There's scouts and guides, and you can take the kids camping, and you can go for hikes and walks and go to the beach. And I think kids need that adult to be models for them, and to kind of give them permission to explore.
As a child in Southern Ontario, my father was a naturalist, and he used to take us every Sunday for walks in different areas of the countryside. And like, for example, we would go see the hawk migrations in the fall, and in the spring when the swans came, and we go to the Trillium Woods, and we do all those things. So I had that rhythm growing up, and I think you just, like I'm sure Genevieve's children have, once you sort of have that exposure sort of growing up, it becomes intrinsic in how you sort of feel and look at the world and do things. So I think that's kind of where I come from, is from that. I see a lot these days, I mean I've done it for many years, and I see a lot of what I say children sitting in front of boxes. Parents encouraging their kids to be in front of computers, and I mean there's, you know, there is some merit in that. Being in front of TV, there's also some merit in that, but I worry about the non-interaction that's going on there and some of the messages, and just for health-wise for kids, it's good to be outdoors and getting connected, and to, you know, there's all those elements out there. There's just like the textures, there's the colors, the sounds, the feels, the smells. You know, I'd love to get kids out there and connecting with all of that. And if they get that heart-to-heart connection, then it doesn't matter if they have the words, because they can look that stuff up, or people can look that stuff up, or they can learn that later. We want to have them so that they care about that, and it's important to them.
Over the past 100 or 200 years of the Industrial Revolution, there's been many forces that have disconnected people from nature. So we have to make a lot of effort to get out, to simply get outdoors. It takes a lot of effort now.
That by the end of this century, if things don't change, we're looking at 80% of our native species being gone, and you know, like our entire world totally changing. So to me, there is nothing more important than children being connected to nature, understanding it, like Lorna says, not needing to know the names, that's not the issue, but having a connection, that word connection, having a feeling for it, a feeling that they care. And that, to me, is the only thing that's going to save us.
The more we're disconnected from nature, then the more in danger nature is from human activity. So it's very sad. I'm very sad about it. If we lose our connection to nature, we will continue to destroy nature. If we don't connect our children to nature, it breaks the deep emotional connection that we are all born with.
You know, I do think that these days we are getting a little sort of, I don't know, rigid about what kids can do and wear and touch and feel, and we kind of like to say, let's throw that out the window.
The same answer, go outdoors. Go outdoors with your kids and enjoy the natural world.